Okay, eyes up here, please. I did a long division warm up because that's probably the type of problem you need the most practice on. Okay? So when we do this, we put our x minus 3 out here. Do I have to add any zeros underneath? No, I got my x squared, my x, and my constant, right? No. So don't forget about adding zeros. All right, hey, you two, now you can focus here. All right, so 2x squared divided by x is all I worry about, which is what? 2x, right? Yeah. Again, if you don't know, write it out long ways. What happens to one of the x's up there and the one down below? They cancel. That's the division problem, right? Now, what do I do with this 2x answer? Multiply by those two terms. So 2x times x, you put that under the 2x squared, and 2x times negative 3 is negative 15x, and you put it under the 5x. Now what? We subtract, right, Wolf? I don't know. I don't know how I got that. What should it be? Negative 6. I was thinking, I must have been looking at the 5 instead of the 2. All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm an extra 160.
All right. So when I subtract, what happens to this minus 6? Makes it plus, right? Because it's minus a negative. Right? So it's negative 5x plus 6x, which is 1x, right? And then bring down the minus 3. Then we start over again. What's x divided by x? What's anything divided by itself? Not itself, 1, right? So I put plus 1 up there because it's positive x, right? So now I go 1 times x and 1 times negative 3. When I subtract, what happens to this second minus 3? It's addition, right? So what's my remainder? 0. There is no remainder. So that's it. 2x plus 1 is our answer. Okay? Questions?
This goes. This goes.
Vince, you got a question?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like doing it.
That's what I heard.
It's like if I had a separate question, like I need another one. So
Well, we're going to do number 8. That's long division. And we'll, when we go over it, if you're still having questions, ask it, okay? All right, so number 1 of the practice quiz, it says write it in standard form. So what goes first? The 3x cubed goes first, right? The one with the highest exponent. And then go in order. So then we have a plus 2x squared minus 5x and then minus 3. Okay? So this is a third degree problem, right? Or polynomial. What's the name of a third degree polynomial? Cubic, right? But I didn't ask you for that. But I did ask you for the leading coefficient. What is it? 3. It's the first coefficient once you have it in the right order. All right, and then degree is just whatever that first exponent is. So they're both 3. Okay? Questions? Should we miss that problem? No. Sydney? No, you just tell me what number. For degree, you just tell me the number. Cubic is correct, I mean, as far as the name of it, but you don't have to write that.
The highest, they just happen to be the same, the element one on the next one. Probably just the six.
Okay, so the next one, what goes first? The 6x cubed, right? And then the 3x squared would be next because we go in order. Now I got a 5x and a minus 3x. What should I do with those? Combine them, right? Which is a positive 2x, right? So that's standard form. That's the first thing. And then again, what's the leading coefficient? That first number, right? And then the degree is 3 again, right? Again, because that was the first exponent. All right, so again, those 2 types of problems should be pretty easy for you tomorrow. Okay? Nope, it's going to look just like this.
100% like that. Yeah, it's pretty much, it's like, yeah.
Okay, number 3, it says we're subtracting. Okay, so here's the problem. When we add or subtract, we're just adding or subtracting like terms. Like terms have the same variable and the same exponent, right? Okay, so we got a 9x to the third minus 3x to the third is a 6x to the third. Negative 4x squared minus 2x squared is a negative 6x squared. Nothing minus 7, since there's no constant over here, is what? Negative 7. And it said write your answer in standard form. Is that in standard form? Yeah, from the highest degree down to the lowest. Right, Mason? Focus. Questions? All right, number 4 is an addition problem. Same thing. We're going to look at like terms, right? Again, if you want to write these vertically instead of horizontally, if that helps you, that's okay. You can do that. All right, if you want to, there's a positive 2x cubed there and a positive 4x cubed there. If you want to, circle or square or triangle, put symbols around them so know which ones are like, whatever helps you. Okay? So what's 2x cubed plus 4x cubed? 6x. Lots of 6x cubes for this practice, huh? And then we've got an 8x squared plus a 2x squared is a positive 10x squared, right? And then there's no other like terms. So there's a minus x and a positive 7, plus 7. And again, put it in order from biggest exponent down to the constant, if there is one, for standard form. Now, when you have multiple variables in a term, put the variable that comes first in the alphabet in the right order. So like the next one, we got x squared and x's and y's and y squared, right? So standard form, again, would mean to try to put it in the right order. So we're going to concentrate on the x's, that order. All right, so we got 5y times the quantity. So here's multiplication. We're going to distribute the 5y times the two terms. Okay, so we're going to multiply these two, which is 10, and then put your variables in alphabetical order. So x comes first in the alphabet. So, and it was an x squared. Yes.
Thank you.
And then 5y times negative 5xy is negative 25x y squared. So my x's went in the right order. The x squared first, and then the x to the first. A lot of times when you do that and have multiple variables, the other variable goes up, which that did. Not always, but a lot of the times that happens. Questions on that? Yes.
So I had 10y(x squared) and then I have the x squared first. Is that okay?
I won't mark it wrong, but normally we put the x in front. Well, it's not equal to anything, so you don't have to go any further. There's no like terms left, so you just stop after you do the multiplication. If these were like terms, I could simplify it. That's all. The only thing else. If it was equal to something, then we might have to do some more, but it's not. So Vince, what do I do for this one when I have a binomial times a quad, a 4-term polynomial?
Distribute it.
Yeah, I got to distribute both terms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to multiply 3x times 2x cubed, which is 6x to the 4, because I've got 1x there and 3. We're going to add the exponents, right? Right, AJ? And then 3x times negative 3x squared is a negative 9x to the third. And then 3x times 2x is a positive 6x squared. And 3x times 4 is a positive 12x. Okay? This is basically Algebra 1 stuff that you knew how to do when you walked in the first day, right? So we shouldn't be missing this type of stuff. Then I have to multiply the negative 2 times the 2x cubed. What I like to do is line up now my like terms. So I'm going to make that a negative 4x cubed and put it under the 9x cubed. And then negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6x squared. So I'll put it under the other 6x squared. And the negative 2 times the positive 2x is a negative 4x. I'm going to put it under the 12x. And then negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. There's no other like terms with that. So that's what I usually do on that type of problem. Line up my like terms vertically. So then our answer would be 6x to the 4th. And a negative 9 and a negative 4 is negative 13. And 6 plus 6, positive 12. And 12 minus 4, positive 8. Questions? You got one of these negative?
Yeah.
This one? Well, I got a negative 2 times a negative 3. So that makes it positive because it's 2 negatives. Anything else question-wise? All right. So number 7. I would use Pascal's triangle. Sorry, can't help you. just do the best you can. Okay? So how do I start Pascal's triangle?
One, and one, and then one, one. One, and then one, 2, 1. 6, 4, 1.
Okay. So we know how to start with the 3 1s, right?
Yep.
And then every row starts with 1. And then how do I get this next number? Add those. 1 plus 1 and n. Okay, Nick? Nick, I added 1 plus 1 to get this 2. Okay? I start with 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. End with 1. Start with 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 and n. All right? I can stop there. Why? Right, our exponent is 4, right? So, since this is a 4, we want this row, the one that starts 1, 4, because they all start with a 1, so just look at the next term. That tells you which row. So, that's row 2, that's row 3, this is row 4. Okay? So now I'm going to set up this problem to raise that binomial to the 4th power. Okay? So I'm going to use a 1, and then 2 parentheses, plus 4, and then the 2 parentheses, plus 6. I'm just writing big so you guys can see. Plus 4. 2! Plus 1.
Cool.
All right. So, what goes in the first set of parentheses? The x, right? The first term of the binomial. So every first parenthesis has the x. What goes in the second parenthesis? The 5, right? Since it's positive 5, we just put 5. If it was minus 5, we put negative 5. Okay? So far, so good. You guys remember this?
Yeah.
Figured it out?
No, but I guess.
All right. Hopefully it was a good guess. Give it a pass. Okay. You're doing that. What you're saying.
I don't wanna walk all the way down the track.
All right.
Singing the song.
I heard that.
All right. So we also have to write in some exponents. Okay? So since we got a 4 there, that first x, this first parenthesis starts at 4 power and goes down by 1s all the way to 0. And then the second parenthesis starts at 0 every time and goes up by 1s. And if you add the 2 exponents that you have, they should always add up to the original exponent, which would be 4 in this case, right? You add 4 plus 0, 3 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 1 plus 3, 0 plus 4, you get 4 every time, right?
Yeah.
All right. What did I tell you could do with the zeros? Cross them out, right? Not worry about it, because that's like multiplying by 1, so we don't need to worry about it. All right, so now I just find those 5 answers. So what's 1 times x to the 4th? X to the 4th. What's 4? Again, all this is a variable, so I have to worry about it. So what's 4 times 5 to the 1st? 5 to the first is 5, so what's 4 times 5? 20. So this is plus 20. What's our exponent for x? For the third power. Good. Now I'm going to go 5 squared, which is 25, times the 6, which is 150. X to the second. And then it's 5 to the third, which is 125, times the 4, and that's 500. And then x to the first, and then it's 1 times 5 to the fourth, which is just 5 to the fourth. So 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, 6 times 5 is 625. So there's our answer, using Pascal's triangle to multiply the binomial, expand it. Yes, sir?
I had the exponents like flipped, like I started with 0 and I still got the same answer.
Well, it won't always work that way. But this one, since it was a 1x, it worked out. But if you had like a 2x or something, that might not work out. All right, number 8 was a long division. So Vince,
Yeah.
let's focus. And this was kind of a weird one because we had an odd number and we were dividing by an even number, right? So you won't have one like that on tomorrow's quiz. But I don't have to add any zeros because I have my squared and my y and my constant. All right, so again, all I worry about is the 4y squared, that first term, divided by the first term out here, the 2y. So remember, that's 4 times y, and 2 times y. Well, the y's go away, 1 each, and then, so there's still 1 y up here, right? And what's 4 divided by 2? 2. So that's a 2y. Any problems with that? Now I take this 2y and I multiply it by these two. 2y times 2y, and 2y times negative 1. And then I subtract. Okay? So this is 13 minus negative 2, which means adding 2, right? So it's 13 plus 2, so it's 15y. Does that make sense, Vince?
Yeah.
Now here's where it gets kind of goofy because 15's odd and 2's even. So when I divide 15 by 2, what is that? 7.5, right? So you can write 7.5 or 7.5, but I don't like that, and I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. I haven't done the quizzes yet, but it should. So we should have made that work out to be even, so you didn't do that. But anyway, we can still handle it. 7.5 times 2y is the 15y, and 7.5 times negative 1 is negative 7.5. When I subtract, the 15y's cancel, and again I have that minus the negative. So what's negative 12 plus 7.5? Yeah, negative 4.5. So that's our remainder. So you can put plus, then negative 4.5 up top, and 2y minus 1 on the bottom. Questions? Yes?
I didn't use that one. I used it 7.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have some, but just do what it is. You know, if it comes out to a decimal, go ahead and do that. If tomorrow works out like that. I don't think it will. I think if it's a 2y, it's going to be even. It'll work out nicely for you. Yeah, I did. Caleb, I just haven't gone over it yet. You know, the answers. We'll see if I did this.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay, so number 9, we're doing synthetic division, which is a little bit quicker and easier, right? So since we're dividing by x minus 1, what goes in our little corner? Positive 1, right? So first of all, make sure that's correct. Second, look at the problem. Do I need to add any zeros?
Yes, you do.
For what variable? For x, yeah. So I got my 3x cubed, my negative 5x squared. I don't have an x, so there's where the 0 goes. And then the minus 2. Draw your line. Drop your 3 underneath. So what do I do with 1 and 3? Multiply. So that's a 3. Now what do I do with those 2? Add them, right? 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. When I add those 2 numbers, I get negative 2 again. So I get 1 times negative 2 again. Negative 2 plus a negative 2 is a negative 4. Remember, that's our remainder. Okay? So our answer then is 3x to what power? The second, right. Our original problem was to the third. When we write our answer, it's always 1 less for our exponent. So 3x to the second minus 2x minus 2, and then my remainder, negative 4 over x minus 1. So we're going to make them 5 points apiece, make it a 45-point quiz tomorrow. Not that difficult, I don't think.
Not really.
So hopefully you guys prepare yourselves and do well on this first quiz of the new 9 weeks, right? Get yourself a good summative grade going. Yes.
You have another.